I'm hearing this all over the place, and I'm sure you do. If I hear it, it's got to drive you a bit crazy that people are saying, well, look at what Tom Herman did, and Steve Sarkisian's not winning at the rate that Tom Herman. He won 65% of his games, so we could be doing better with Tom Herman.
We probably would be doing better with Tom Herman, but the question is, would you take Tom Herman in his 5th year going 7-5, 8-4 over what I think we're going to end up being, which is 6-6, which is no, you would call for his head at the end of the year. So that doesn't make any sense. It's Steve Sarkisian's first year. Now, I did say in the postgame show, and I will say this on here, if we lose to Kansas, I will start to doubt. I mean, this Kansas team is bad, really bad. Like the team we lost to a couple years ago under Charlie Strong, that Kansas team is better than this one. And we're better, and we definitely have more talent. And we have Bijan Robinson. You should be able to hand the ball off to him 30 times if he plays. And then again, if he doesn't play, I think Roschon Johnson can get the ball 25 to 30 times and run for 150 to 200 yards. We need to beat this team. I don't even care if we beat them by 3 points. We just need to get a win under our belt. But yeah, that's the situation of calling for Tom Herman. If he was here, we'd win more. Probably would be the case. But again, unless we're going to go, if you think we're going to be 11-1 or 10-2 under Tom Herman, he shouldn't have been the head coach for the simple fact 8-4 in your 5th year is not getting it done at Texas. It's just not.
Yeah, there's really only 2 guys that I know that can go anywhere and they're going to win, and like it's 100% guarantee, and that's Nick Saban and Urban Meyer. And then there's a number of guys where you get a strong indication that they're at least capable. James Franklin, who's probably going to leave Penn State, who knows, and those sorts of things. When it comes to Steve Sarkisian, I got to admit that my criticism of his hiring was that he had never proven that he was a winning coach anywhere. Like if you look at USC, you look at Washington, sure, his records aren't horrible, but what was he doing that his predecessor and his successor were not doing? If anything, he was being outcoached from a record standpoint by both his predecessor and successor at both Washington and USC. Now, there are a lot of other things that go into that evaluation, but just looking at the performance, the results, the record, Steve Sarkisian hasn't really proven anything yet.
No, he hasn't. But if you go back and look at Washington, they were 0-12 when he took over, and he made them a 5-7 team. So that's a 5-win improvement. That's pretty good. And overall at USC, that's hard to judge. I mean, he is still an alcoholic, and obviously he was battling with his addiction way more then than he is now. I mean, that's the reason he got fired for showing up to press events and stuff like that, blacked out, basically drunk. And there's been multiple people who have said when he's right, he's a really good coach and a really smart football mind. Lane Kiffin said that. I think there was a tweet in the offseason basically saying he's going to be the guy on to keep Texas on the right track. And Lane Kiffin retweeted that and then went on like a little bit of a thread of why he's the right guy. So if you have people around you vouching for you when you're right and he is right, then I think we have to take that into account. And again, it's his first year. If he beats Kansas, I don't even care what happens the rest of the year. As long as you do that, we made it through the year. You're starting to get your players in there. You're starting to get the players you don't want out, and you're starting to build a culture. And that's all I want this first year.
Yeah, there's a ton of examples of highly successful coaches that needed to take a step back, at least on the surface, the record, all of that, the results on the field. Look at Bill Belichick, look at Pete Carroll. You can go to a number of examples where the first year was not pretty, maybe even year 2, but certainly the first year was not pretty before they got it turned around and got their program up and running.